Stetson a lot of credit. They play a certain style that there's fewer possessions in their game. They want to slow down the pace. Obviously, we're a very, very fast-paced team. And the game got a little muddy. I think it's as few possessions as we've had in a game this year, which is kind of, what I think their game plan is, obviously, against us. And we had to win in a different way. We had to win a different style game, and I think that's what good teams do, is they figure it out. On a game that your offense might not be up to par, you don't make shots at the typical rate, and you give Stetson credit for that. Their defense dictated that to a large extent, but our guys figured it out. That's a team that doesn't turn the ball over much at all. They're one of the best in the country at not turning it over, and we turned them over on almost 20% of their possessions. I thought that was really big. Knocked down big free throws late. We were 13 for 14 from the line. Got big stops when we had to. They made a run. They started, raining in shots and made it close. But we had a couple big possessions. Ante was big today in terms of rebounding. He had 9 rebounds, 4 offensive. He had that one big late. That was a grown man rebound in traffic that we had to have. Although he didn't play a lot of minutes, I thought the minutes that Charles played were big. He came in, blocked a couple big shots, gave us a boost off the bench. Thought Pat was big off the bench tonight. Pat just gives us courage. Pat has so much just bravado and confidence about him, and it exudes. He exudes that confidence, and it rubs off on the rest of his team. So we're lucky and blessed to come out with a win. Got a big game in Conway against Coastal on Monday. All the years I was at Winthrop, Coastal's was always, our fiercest, most bitter rival. So when you say Coastal Carolina, that always gets my heart beating fast. I know it's going to be a rock fight. Hopefully we'll prepare well over the next couple days, go down there, and hopefully have a big win going into Christmas.
When you say 10 straight wins, is it something you look at and start to take note of as the country does, or do you try to ignore the win streak?
Honestly, I'm aware of it. Obviously, I'm aware of it. I try my best in everything we do, whether it was a losing streak or it was a winning streak, to just focus on the next thing. The next thing that our guys need to do is recover. Coming out of exams, they're mentally fatigued, physically fatigued. We had 2 days of prep getting ready for North Greenville, went right into 2 days prep, getting ready for these guys. So tomorrow they're going to rest, recover, no lift, no school, no basketball, and then we'll have 3 days to get ready for Coastal. And we always say the most important thing in the history of our program will be the first thing we do when we get back together on, I don't even know what day of the week it is.
Friday.
Today's Friday?
No, today's Wednesday.
Today's Wednesday?
Yeah.
We'll be back on Friday. And then that film session, that walkthrough, the first repetition in practice, that's what we focus on. But I know the nation's taking notice, the city's taking notice, and it's exciting. It's great for recruiting. It's great for the marketing and the promotion of our program. It's great for our university. That's why, they invest in athletics, invest in men's basketball, so that hopefully we can have success and then shine a really bright light on one of the finest institutions in the United States and one of the greatest cities in the country.
They got it to 50. They got it to a 2-point game. What do you call the timeout? What do you say?
Yeah, basketball's a game of runs. Donnie's a really good coach. He was with Billy Donovan forever and ever, won national championships there. I told him when I shook his hand at the beginning, I'm like, I need to come sit down with you and talk about ball screen offense, because he's a wizard. The way that they manipulate bodies on the floor and utilize the pick and roll. He's really good. So anyway, in that timeout, it was just like, we always say, how do you respond? Our big formula, as I told you guys before, is E plus R equals O. E are the events. That's stuff that happens. That's happened. We can't do anything about it. It's about your respond. How do you respond? And our guys did. They came out, got stops, made free throws, and made the plays we needed to win the game.
Normally you go up into the student section, you took the team. Was today a special reason to do that, or?
Well, there were some students there, so I went up and talked to the students, but we also went up and we wanted to acknowledge and high-five and celebrate a special group of people from the Meeting Street schools here in Charleston. not only the academy downtown, but the elementary schools in North Charleston as well. And I think what that concept and the vision that Mr. Navarro had, and how they've executed it, and the impact it's had on the city, and the students in North Charleston that are part of that, or part of that at the academy, the excellence that the staff and the faculty has about how they go about their work every day. I mean, it's if you could multiply that times a million and put it all over the United States, our country would be in a much, much better position. You walk in there and there's a vibe. You walk in there and there's a culture. There's smiles on faces. Kids are eager to learn. Teachers are leaning forward. They're passionate about what they're doing. I've seen it. I've been in that school. It's a wow. And we had many of them as guests today. And they came and enjoyed a great win, and hopefully they'll come back again. But I have just so much respect for that organization, what they do and how they do it, and it was great to have them there and acknowledge them and high-five them and tell them thank you.
Do you believe it was 10 years ago exactly at this moment that you stood and talked in the, as you said, the biggest microphone you'll ever have? Do you believe it's been 10 years since that moment and that day and what it meant to your life and how you've kind of been associated with it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's amazing. It's been 10 years. I mean, I could go back right now, and we were on our way up to Ohio University to play Ohio, and then right after that, go to play Ohio State. And we were on I-77 going north, and our bus broke down, and we're on the side of the road. And Gideon Gamble came back from the back of the bus, and and I saw it on social media, and he goes, "Coach, there was another school shooting," and I just went, "Oh man, again, like we all do, like really, how can that happen again?" And then he goes, "No, Coach, you don't understand. I mean, it was elementary school kids. It was 7 and 8 year olds, and that moment, I just went numb, because I had children at home that same exact age, and more than any school shooting, any event like that in the history of our country, that one, it took my breath away. And just by happenstance, when there was a set of parents that lost a little boy named Chase Kowalski, who ironically looks very, very, very much like my son Johnny. And when they heard my press conference, Rebecca and Steve is the mom and dad's name. Through a friend, they reached out to me, and 72 hours after their son was gunned down senselessly, I was on the phone with these people and had no idea what to say. And all they said was it resonated with them what I said, because what I said that day was, I don't know what the answer is, and I don't know if any of us do, and there's all type of issues. And what they said resonated was, it was about how it starts with each of us, and the foundation that they started, the CMAC Foundation, and they started coming down to Rock Hill, and they run triathlons all over the country in honor of Chase and to raise money, and it's all based on the two guiding principles, the two greatest commandments, and it's love God with all your heart, and it's love your neighbor as yourself. Love. The answer is love. Recently I heard the sermon by I think it was a Catholic priest at the royal wedding between Prince Harry and if you go back and listen to his sermon, and he talked about that, how the answer is love. The answer is treating people the way you want to be treated, how it starts with each of us. How can I have an impact on the people that I'm responsible for and make them better people? And then just like Coach Prosser was to me and my parents and the teachers that I had, just like the Meeting Street teachers that were there tonight, the impact that they're making on those kids to live their life the right way, love others. And, there's been one perfect person in the history of this planet, and he walked the earth 2,000 years ago. And if we live our lives on a daily basis in a way that pleases him, the world's a better place. And, it's I was texting with Rebecca Kowalski tonight, and I told her, I said, I miss my little buddy, and I never met him before. But I have his picture on my desk, and one time when they came to my house, when we were having one of the triathlons in Rock Hill, she had never met Johnny, and he ran down the steps, and I knew what was going to happen when she saw him, and she just froze and broke into tears because she saw a lot of her son Chase in my son Johnny. That's a special relationship I have with them. We continue to communicate to this day, and my heart goes out to them and to all the families that lost little boys and girls that day. Hopefully our country starts to turn a corner and we become better, and those things stop happening. I know the city of Charleston has obviously dealt with one of the biggest shootings that our country has ever seen, and it's sad. And like I said, I think it starts with all of us, and all of us got to do our part. So,
Thanks, Pat.
Thanks, Matt.
all right, thank you.
Merry Christmas.